there's still that element of the casual but serious player that needs a comfortable paddle but wants that pop, wants that power of all those illegal paddles out there. They want to be that powerful. So we made a powerful paddle. Our customer is very simple. Our customer is somebody who wants to get better. That's it. Like, if you don't want to get better, you're not our customer, right? And there's people out there that maybe play at a special event and they hit once with a cheap paddle and they don't care. That's not for us.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of the 00 Start podcast, brought to you by JustPaddles. Today, we're excited. We have a special guest, Evan Specht, co-founder and director of operations of Diadem Pickleball, one of the premium brands in pickleball. Evan, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Ben. Excited to chat.
Yeah, I'm excited to chat so we can get a little, maybe we can get some secret info, some back-end info, but more importantly, I think it's just fun to learn about some of the top brands in our game. It's kind of fun to see, like, you always see all the Diadem stuff online and you see all the paddles out on the courts, but you never really learn about the people behind the madness, all the passionate people that are doing all this stuff. Because I think a long time ago, people were just putting paddles together, slapping them together and selling them. And nowadays, there is some serious work, effort, R&D going into these pickleball businesses. So it's going to be fun. But give me a quick rundown of Diadem Pickleball. Where's your headquarters? When did you guys start? What started this whole thing?
Yeah. Cool. Well, we started originally the brand in 2015. Me and one of the co-founders prior to that, spent years kind of in the development process. We were tennis coaches, so we're doing this stuff on the side. We were, learning about the industry of tennis and trying to figure out how we can make an impact, how we can offer something better. As time went on and we started developing and selling the product, we identified pickleball very early. In our deck for investors in like 2018, 2017, we had pickleball in there. We presented to people, I remember, and when we presented, people were like, pickleball, like, you need to focus on what you know. We actually, two things, we presented, we needed the money really for pickleball, we needed it for tennis balls, and they're like, get out of here, like, we're not interested. We eventually scaled up. We were still focusing on tennis, but pickleball was always in the back of our minds. We built the pickleball court in our office. We're located in Pompano Beach, Florida, South Florida, so we're in the mecca of tennis and pickleball. And the first thing we did was just learn how to play pickleball. We learned what people were looking for at the time, which, by the way, is a lot different than what they're looking for now.
That's right.
We learned who the customers were. We identified potential partners, retailers, clubs. Again, completely different landscape than now, in just a few short years. But when we launched, we had a pretty big, goal and focus, and that was to be a leader in the sport.
Yeah, and what I like what you said right there is you started by playing the game, and and it's easy to fall in love with the sport, but when you fall in love with the sport and you really are truly passionate about what you're doing, I think it just shines. And I think that's the reason why so many of these pickleball companies are so successful, is because they are legitimately passionate about the sport, every aspect of it, not only playing it, but tournaments, the players, but then building paddles from basically everything you guys do. When you're so passionate about it, it so bleeds through the product and everything else you guys are doing.
Yeah, I mean, for us, that was definitely apparent, and you see that in some of the big tennis brands, without naming names. Like, they don't really have that passion. They just like, oh, we can make a paddle too. It's the brands that are dedicated to pickleball that are the true players in the sport. But yeah, we learned the sport. I played a couple tournaments, I remember, and it was with the Icon. It wasn't technically approved yet. So I don't know if they can go back and strip my medals. But they let me play, and it was, we learned what the customer was like. We learned what a tournament was like, and all that stuff. And that was with the Icon V1, our first paddle. And now, of course, we have the Icon V3, the Icon Infinity. So it's pretty cool to come that far.
Yeah, you guys, and just like all the pickleball companies, And you guys started with the Icon. That paddle is so awesome. It's one of those ones that's like still relevant today if someone picks it up or if they're still playing with it. But it has evolved, and you mentioned it earlier. It has evolved so much to like most first paddles to what they're creating now. It's just a crazy jump in technology, R&D, and your brain waves that go into building a new paddle now. So tell me, what have you guys been up to lately? What I love about Diadem is you guys seem to really dive into building new paddles. You don't have 80 new paddles a year, right? It seems like you spend your time. There's a big time thought out process before you guys launch a paddle. What have you guys been up to?
Yeah, so I mean, the main thing we've been up to over the last few months, and we just launched now, is the Icon Infinity. So that is the third generation of our flagship product. It has some really good tech in it. The overall purpose of it is a powerful paddle that's comfortable. So powerful comfort. We definitely identified this demographic as an important customer of ours, right? The absolutely dedicated, hungry, playing multiple times a week, probably five, maybe every day. But maybe they're not pro. Maybe they're not physical specimens that are doing the off-court training and are absolutely ripped and never have an injury, right? I mean, there's still that element of the casual but serious player that needs a comfortable paddle but wants that pop, wants that power of all those illegal paddles out there. They want to be that powerful. So we made a powerful paddle that has incredible comfort with a dual foam edge wall that allows for incredible comfort with power.
Yeah, and we got those paddles. I've been a big fan of the Icons through all their series. So well done on this one. You can tell how much time and effort has gone in to building this paddle. You gotta. I want to ask you a question because I was thinking about it as you were talking. You guys
Yeah.
recently built a facility, right?
Yep.
Is this like the mecca for play testing Diadem prototypes? Are there like Diadem prototypes like spewed all over the floor, just everywhere, like
No,
from
not shoot over the floor, but I go over there with a bag or a bucket. We get a court, try to get it in the corner, and we'll dive in. Everyone's kind of like, "Oh, what's that? What's that?" So yeah, if you come at the right time, you'll see some prototype action. But yeah, I mean, we don't really use the court in the back of the building anymore. I go indoors. It's too nice inside. It is a beautiful facility that we have at the Diadem Pickleball Complex down here. And yeah, I mean, we do a lot of testing there for sure.
Yeah, is that one of the best perks? Because I've said this on a couple of the episodes, but I asked, people in my area to play. I'm like, "Hey, can you play?" And they're like, "Yeah, 5:30." I'm like, "No, noon. You play at noon? We're working. I got to play test a couple battles. It's working." So it's like the best benefit. Like you get a play test prototype that you've been working on and you're working.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a huge benefit. I wish I had more time. I unfortunately, whenever I play test, it's like maybe 5 days or 2 weeks later than what I wanted to because it just gets pushed back and back and back. But being able to develop the product from the idea through the prototyping phase, it's usually very rewarding. Sometimes it's like, we get something that's like, oh, this is a step back. We want to go a step forward, but it's a lot of fun. And it's unique and difficult because it's not really for me always, right? I mean, I make paddle. I don't use every paddle. I mean, I play test, enjoy them all, but I have to think about who the customer is for. And so I usually try to get a playtest partner that is going to be that type of demographic, somebody that, like, for example, has loved the Icon all the way through. We were testing a lot with this during the prototype phase. So it's definitely a part of the process and it's fun.
Yeah, and I like what you said there though, because it's easy to get wrapped up in building what you like, right? And that what you like might not necessarily be what the mass of people that you're trying to market your product to. So I like that. And you bring other people and other game styles and maybe people that are older, younger, power, touch, control, whatever it is. And those are the people that are helping you build the paddles. I think that's super important to know that it's not just one person that has this game style building paddles.
No, and it's really important now because there's so much variation that people are looking for. Of course, power is prevalent, right? I want more power, I want more spin. But there's demographics that I want touch, I want control, I want comfort. And so, we have a wide enough line now that each of those kind of needs are met. And again, it's not always just for me. I mean, but I have to obviously think about that as we're producing them.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that though, because if you talk to, I think I always get in my head like you watch the PPA Tour and the people that are going to the PPA Tour events and the diehards that are good players and they're 5.0s and above. That's not the meat of the game, though. I think the meat of the game is drive to your park and look at those people playing. Like that's probably the meat of pickleball, right? And a lot of those players don't want paddles that blow the socks off their opponent. They don't. I don't even know if they like that sometimes because they just want like they're true to the game. They want the dinks, and that's what they want to do. And they want to control paddle. So building paddles that you kind of have one of each or multiple of each in the category, I think it's super important.
Yeah. I mean, for us, we've clearly identified our customer. Our customer is very simple. Our customer is somebody who wants to get better. That's it. Like, if you don't want to get better, you're not our customer, right? And there's people out there that maybe play at a special event and they hit once with a cheap paddle and they don't care. That's not for us. Pros want to get better. They're our customer too. But you and me, I mean, we're probably not pros. I don't know. I'd love to play you, but we want to get better every time we go out there. So it's about finding the elements of the paddle that are going to help that person get better. We've made it pretty clear, pro in just focusing on the pro paddles is not our main focus. All of our paddles can be used by a pro. I play with pros all the time, and I can hit the ball with them. It's fine. It's just we want to cater to what we call, and I'd love to chat about it, is like the live to play kind of mantra that we kind of stand behind. And that's really using sport, whether it's pickleball or tennis or football or anything, but using that sport, and specifically for us, pickleball, as like an avenue for finding happiness, whether that's losing weight, meeting people, getting healthy, getting better. And that's, again, our customer. And that's what happens in pickleball. You get better. It's very easy to get better from that first time you hit the ball to 6 months, a year, 5 years down the road. And the live to play is our commitment, whether it's giving away balls to tournaments, communities, schools, to help foster that interaction and growth, or it's we do some series where we really dive into people with mental health, people that have overcome incredible odds, and they're using pickleball as that kind of vessel to either get their message across or to find that relief from whatever it is. And that's what's super important to us, giving pro players money to say they use our paddle and then a year later they're going to switch to another brand. That's not our mission. That doesn't do it for us.
Yeah, that live to play mission from Diadem, like you said. I mean, that's the stuff that I love when you guys jump on this podcast because I know a lot of people know about the live to play mission, but it's cool to know like from every category, you guys built a facility, you built product, you sponsor tournaments, this live to play mission. Like you guys are fully into this game for more than just
Yes.
the obvious reasons of selling paddles. This is and you're changing lives. You're providing places to play. Like there's from every angle, you guys are invested in this sport.
Yeah. We definitely, people ask all the time, and we talk all the time about the competition in the sport, right? But we're not a paddle company, right? There's 2,000 paddle companies, which is crazy. There's 2,000 brands that have USAP approval. We have a strong presence in Vietnam. There's so many Vietnamese brands, like they're USAP approved, but they're not sold here. They're just like, they're popping up everywhere. We're not a paddle company, right? We're a pickleball company, right? We have paddles, shoes, balls, accessories, and then like you mentioned, the places to play. We're super excited about that more than anything else. And I mean, we want to provide not only everything you need to play, but the place to play as well.
Yeah, you guys are doing it all. We need to. I would love for you guys to open a facility right next to Just Paddles in Kansas City. That'd be great, or in Atlanta, where I live. That'd also be great. where we don't have to be outside all the time or if it rains. But you guys are doing a pretty awesome job of just being kind of the exactly what pickleball is about. It's a lifestyle. It's building awesome product. It's innovating. It's giving back to the communities. You guys are doing it all, and we're only 3/4 through the year. What can we expect from Diadem in Q4 and beyond? Is there
Yeah.
anything that you can share with us that's not going to get you in trouble that you guys are working on, or that we can expect from you guys in the future?
I don't know if I can share too much. There is a lot coming. So the things I can share is the new colorway and size runs of the court burst shoe. So we've expanded the sizing. We had a lot of comments. Why don't you make 13s? Why don't you make 14s? So we've definitely listened to that, and we're doing really well with the shoes. So we want to keep expanding the shoes. And then we have a new colorway dropping right after this podcast probably drops. So I'm not going to say it, but you'll see it soon. And then we have some new paddles still dropping this year. In December, we'll be dropping some paddles that the market is asking for. And a lot of our customers give us feedback, and we listen. So it can't always be done today or tomorrow, but we get it in the pipeline. And if we hear it enough, we work towards it. Now, next year, DIACON 2025, February 1st weekend. I know some of JustPaddles will be there. The team always comes, so we love having them. It's going to be an incredible event. It's at our facility down here in Pompano. We're going to unveil some things that are just like, basically the world's never seen before. And, we're really excited every year about kind of that DIACON and what we're going to talk about, what we're going to do for the year. And this year is going to be no different.
And obviously, when I know about DIACON, I'm going to be there. Hopefully next in February. I hope I can make it. Last time, Evan, you gotta consult us because in the heat of youth sports, I can't miss those. So February is perfect.
Yeah.
So that's
No, I know.
perfect
That's why
time.
we tried to plan a date where there's no football, there's no tennis, there's no pickleball. It's a little tough because the schedule wasn't out when we booked it, but we definitely tried to find the best weekend. February 1st weekend should be good. It's definitely beautiful in South Florida, so it's a reason for anybody that's in the north to come down. But we're going to have our partners from all around the world coming. And we're going to unveil some things that I think is going to be really exciting to the pickleball world.
All right. So for those people that don't know, so this is your third DIACON event coming up in February. But tell us what DIACON is, because I have in my mind something that I would compare it to, but it's so unique in the game. Tell us a 30-second rundown of what DIACON is.
Yeah, it's the easiest thing is the biggest pickleball party in the world. It is an event where we bring in all of our key partners, retailers, vendors, distributors, and also our ambassadors, friends, people that are passionate about pickleball and Diadem, and we kind of use it to celebrate where pickleball is, where Diadem is, but then also give a glimpse to the future. So we've always tried to be as innovative and pioneering as possible. First Diacon, we launched the Vice, which is, something that we said is this paddle is 5 years ahead of anything in the market. Turns out it was only about 2 or 3 years ahead, based on what's out there right now in terms of the power level. But, last year or this year, earlier this year, we launched the shoe. And that was a big step forward for us. And we got a lot of things we're always working on development, whether it's paddle, shoes, facilities, or anything beyond that. And we got a lot to talk about, and we want to tell everybody at once. We want to tell everybody in a fun way, and we want to celebrate our friends and partners that are supportive of us.
Yeah, and I was comparing it to, and I don't know if this is offensive, and I don't want it to be, but it's like when Apple releases their new phones, right? And they have that's kind of the vibe that I got from it. And if you're getting compared to that, I feel like that's a massive compliment because that's what it's meant to be.
That's right in line. I mean, the first Diacon we even dressed Corbin, our presenter and our sales rep based in Texas, and just an absolute superstar. He was dressed like Steve Jobs. I do think it's even better. I've watched all of the Apple, all the Microsoft, all the Adobe Max. I've watched all that because we definitely learned from it. They're not as fun as pickleball, though. I mean,
Certainly not.
it's cool. Tech is cool, but we're more fun, and we got a lot of surprises not only in the show and the presentation, but also what we're going to be presenting. So it's a good time.
Is there going to be another giant vice paddle there, like the first Diacon?
There's going to be some stuff there. Last year what we had is a giant shoebox, so people could actually go inside of the shoebox and learn about the shoe. So that was cool. And we had a giant ball pit. It was a swimming pool. We filled the swimming pool with 10,000 pickleball balls, and people just jumped in and had fun in there. So
That's awesome. Well, we're excited to see what comes in February. You just said something, and we need to solve this for the masses. This is not Diadem related at all, but it is pickleball pop related, pop culture related. Pickleball balls.
yeah, I know.
You don't call them pickleballs? Can I solve this for you?
We do call them pickleballs. We have tried to call them pickleballs. So if I said pickleball balls, that's my bad.
Okay. All right, good. Because my argument, because there's others that do that, and my argument is, do you say baseball balls?
I know. No, I agree with you. I agree with you, and that's
Okay.
why when we launched, and it was at DIACON last year, the official ball, and we did the commitment to give away 250,000 balls. We named it the official pickleball, and it's pickleballs, not pickleball balls. So I 100% agree with you.
By the way, I love that ball. I love that ball. Tell us about that ball real quick before we go, because I know I got to let you go, but tell us about that ball. Like that, of all the businesses to get into, that's a hard one because it's hard to make a ball that
Yes.
is different and plays. I mean, people, they're ravenous about the ball. It's like if I use that ball, I'm using that ball. Like
Yeah, and
how,
it was a decision we made, and again, the prototype phase takes so long. I mean, we went through so many iterations. We believed, and we still believe, we can be a leader in the ball, number one ball. We're number one ball in a lot of countries. But there are so many people in the ball space now that it's like paddles. Like to be a number one paddle, you're competing against incredible amount. But we utilize it for a lot of our partnerships. We utilize it for our charity. We give away so many balls. We partner with so many clubs, and it's a great ball. And we built it to be designed, between the Dura and the X40. It's hard, it's fast, but it doesn't warp, it doesn't break. I've never broken one. We use thousands at our facilities because they disappear. They don't break, they disappear.
right, that's right.
Go, I
It's
don't
like
know. Check
lifetime
your bags.
towels.
That's okay. We don't mind. Take our balls out, share them with the world. But we go through a lot of balls because we're not too strict on where those balls go, but they don't break. And the play is excellent. But like you said, I mean, people are particular about their balls. It's a process. We're doing it through sponsoring of events. We're doing it through sponsoring of facilities. You're going to get used to it over time. We want your first experience with pickleball paddles and balls to be with Diadem, and then we want to keep you as a customer because we're going to treat you right. We're going to take care of you, and that's how it's going to be.
Yeah, and it's hard to pass up that. I mean, that you play with that ball, you like it, and you play with the Diadem paddle, you like it. So,
Right.
I'm pretty confident. Like once they get that in their hands, you guys are going to have them for a minute.
Yep, that's 100% our goal.
Well, Evan, thank you so much, man. We learned so much about Diadem. Super cool, man. I love the backstory stuff. I just love to like know what's going on. Maybe one day you can take us into the lab where things are happening and the white coats are building this craziness. But everything you've given us today, are they doing it back there right
Yeah, we
now?
might be doing it right over there. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate your time. We will look forward to everything that's coming for the rest of 2024, and we will be at DIACON. It's going to be awesome.
All right, cool. Thanks, Ben.